Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Addams Family Mystery Mansion. This is the special Halloween episode, and yes, Halloween. Quite an interesting time, I must say. But this game was released sometime around October 11th, 12th-ish, 9th. Somewhere around that year, like the first week after October hit, just to air with the movie. And a lot of people were surprised when the new a new update popped in with this new content, which is surprising because a lot of people weren't really expecting a whole lot. And what's interesting about this update is that not a lot of, well, I'll go into the details, but needless to say, there was a whole interesting lot when it comes to the, what is featured with this. It's not by much, but, yeah, there's a lot to talk about with this update, so I might as well go ahead and first talk about what came in as far as the update itself, what's new, and then I'll talk about what's going on within this video. So let's just dive into the update in general and what it had to offer for us. Join the Halloween update in the Addams Family Mystery Mansion. Pumpkin, cauldrons, and new outfits. It's Halloween at the Addams Family Mystery Mansion. I guess you get to see here. Sneak peek. New status notifications were added to the characters and crafting stations. Interesting fact to know. Visual improvements for cookie boxes. New talking animations implied in all narrative steps. Several bug fixes, cross fixes, and performance improvements. New content. New seasonal skins such as the pumpkin skin and witch outfit. New seasonal cookie box with Halloween rewards. New decorations such as the pumpkin patch, mystery cauldron, and upside down carriage. There's also an image that was appeared, and I'm going to show you that right here, right now. So that's what that looks like. So yeah, there's actually two new costumes, as you could probably guess. It's right here, which is Morticia and Gomez's ones. And normally you would think that there'd be a quest and whatnot in there, and technically there is, but not really, because there's a whole lot of stuff that comes with it. Now, like I said before, there's a lot of information I have to give you, and basically it's a lot of myths, if anything. So the first thing that this part's going to be talking about, before we get to the Halloween stuff, because there's not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to Halloween. So, here's how it's going to work. There are some updates I wanted to talk about from the previous one that we might as well see, and other information that I forgot to miss. Like, for example, if you're curious how the game looks once it was fully released, because when I was playing it, it was still in its beta phase, so I figured I might as well drop this in here and show you what it actually looks like when the game began. Now, word of warning, this was taken in the future a little bit in the far fast, so you get to see some hints in there, switch in and out. The other thing I wanted to note before I continue is that they've introduced a mechanic. At some point during the game, you get to this point here when it'll ask you to start fixing certain items. This is a bad mechanic that was introduced back in Wonder Park that decided to took its ugly head here. And yeah, unfortunately this is one of those things that just kind of stayed, and we have to deal with that now, unfortunately. So hopefully they can, I mean, this is weird because the Addams is all about the opposite, so they're like, oh, broken? Yeah, that's great. But no, this is like, no, you need to fix it in order to get the stuff going, or else. And it sucks because you have to pay them with money, which no one wants to do that. But I digress. Anyways, let's just dive right in and show you what the beginning stuff looks like here. So, here we go. Now, one thing to know is that you might see a little spider guy over there, like that little cutie over there. If I understand correctly, I think the spider is a template of characters. So you know how characters are walking in and out? If a character can't load, this is the default that's there. It's interesting because the spiders themselves, when I first saw them, I'm like, oh, it's interesting how the spiders are kind of like there, right? And it's really weird. So most of, if not all, the characters and stuff you'll see as far as dialogue goes is the same, except for some minor interesting animations. So for example, same thing here as it was before, except the dialogue is now changed with the new models, you know. So no longer is it static with Morticia, and Gomez is still kind of the same. So we got that going on. So this is something new. Well, the dialogue is not new, but the quest here is new because this is interesting. So this is an animation that only exists for this quest, which is weird. So you have to place this down, and then then Morticia has an interesting animation, which I'll be quiet, listen very closely. Yeah, so she's dancing to the Addams Family introduction, which is funny. We do get to see this again in the future time, but otherwise, this whole thing is basically the same. There might be some word changes, like slight dialogue changes, but for the most part, what I showed you in my beta is pretty much the same as it is here. There's different, like, again, different slight wording on certain things, but for the most part, it's simply the same. You can pause it and read it if you like, but I'm not going to go too much in depth. Same thing here. And you get to see a bit of that new phone layout when it comes to that error. But anyways, yeah, we got the whole tango thing. But yeah, no, this is just a quick showing of what I've missed as far as introduction goes and some interesting facts. So yeah, basically this is the whole dialogue when it comes to the new cookie box system in the honeymoon. And that would be an interesting thing to look into. So we got that going. I believe the costume you get is actually going to be the same thing no matter what when it comes to this, as far as when it comes to introduction goes. And then that's when you start the game, and then it's there. And of course, this is what the starter packs looks like once you get it. You actually get a costume this time around. Wednesday actually animates. Kitty now animates. Thing is, Kitty used to be a decoration, but now he's actually a character. And what's interesting is that you actually get some costumes as far as the items go. And I think the costumes did not start in the beginning. This actually came in later on down the line. I'm thinking, I'm gonna say maybe around 2020 is when it started doing that. But yeah, anyways, there's also this. This dialogue is the same thing here, except what's interesting is that what is changed is what this dialogue's for. And that's this, connect to Facebook. So this is when it tells you to go, oh, you should probably connect to Facebook in order to save your feature, and that'll be it there. So that's that. So yeah, that is mostly the beginning stuff that I forgot to miss out on and things of that nature. And yeah, all that. It's not a whole lot, but it's something just to kind of quickly showcase, just to show you what I previously missed. Now, I'm going to level with you and tell you something that I feel ashamed of doing, but I might as well say this right now. If you've seen my channel way long ago, or if you've been here through the other game I covered, which is Horror Town, you may be familiar with an incident that happened around this time. You see, during this time, another update came up, which is the Horrorland Carnival. And during part 3 of that, I actually stated that one of the issues I had was that my files got corrupted and the thing broke and I ended up losing files. Unfortunately, that meant that some of the stuff from the Addams family was unfortunately the casualties of these things. Now, the good news is when it comes to the Addams family as far as the Halloween stuff goes, now the whole thing, a lot has been missed as far as content-wise. However, there was still a lot of stuff that I ended up missing as far as the main dialogue stuff goes. So, in this instance, what I'm about to do is I'm going to show you some things, basically quickly go through dialogues that I'm going to be missing out on, because of the fact, and I'm going to say this right now, I have seen videos of this online through other means. Usually these are channels that are just kind of like just putting them up there, not really vague in there. I don't even know what the channels are called because they're kind of vague in sense, but I ended up getting some screen grabs of these, and I'm going to quickly go through them as far as dialogue goes and kind of talk about the quest lines. These are just going to be quickly going through just so you get an idea of what the things I've missed, and I'll tell you when I've gone into the normal game, and that's when I'm gonna dive into the actual what is the Halloween content. So anyways, let's continue with the main story.
Man, this time bomb is going to be the best. I'll be able to set bombs to go off when I'm nowhere near. No one will know it was me. Don't even think about ratting me out, Lurch. No one likes a squealer.
So that goes to time to go boom, which is basically craft a time bomb and get Lurch to fix a lamp. Now you'll get to see a bit of the fix the lamp animation, but unfortunately, again, this is from another YouTube's channel, so it's just going to be quickly going through all these just so you get a good idea with what each one does here. So we got that going on here. We'll have this guy quickly go through, and you'll see some of the Halloween stuff is already kind of popping in here. I'll go more in depth with the Halloween thing because literally it's not actually, you might think it's a big deal, but it really isn't. So we got that going on here, and then now we're going to go and continue on with the quest.
I know you have to fix the stuff I blow up, Lurch, but I promise to never blow you up.
So we got that done, so now we're going to go into another quest line.
Then Goldilocks said, "This torture rack is just right." The end.
Aww, your bedtime stories has him napping like a 7-foot-tall monstrous baby.
This was the quest line continuation from the Monster Nap one. I figured I might as well go ahead and show you that one because, unfortunately, there's a preview to a Halloween pack. But again, I'll go more in depth in a minute.
I need some assistance with a witching ritual, Lurch. While I draw the arcane symbols, can you please light these candles?
Which leads into practicing magic, which this is what it is.
I'm not sure I'll ever be a good witch like Mother or Grandma Lurch. Like Mary, the Queen of Scots, I'm not sure I have the head for it.
Which then finishes the practicing magic quest line. So now we're going to go into another one.
Hugs, have you ever noticed how thoughtful Lurch is at his tasks?
I only know that he keeps disarming my bomb timers. He's no fun.
That's just because he doesn't want you to undo his interior decorating.
Designed by Lurch, which basically put these items down, albeit by design by Lurch. So by this point, again, I'm only showing you what I can find that I don't have things of, but this later on during the parts, eventually we get to level 9. And, well, I'll quickly show you, this is what the level 9 screen looks like as far as the items and what is offered goes. And the important thing about with level 9 is that this is when a new character gets introduced. Now, this character, unfortunately, I didn't get the welcome screen to, but we're going to introduce him to here, and that is a fan favorite, Cousin It. Cousin It is interesting because, unlike other Addams Family, Cousin It was actually the manufacturing of a TV producer. He was a character that was added within the TV show, so he was never introduced in the original Charles Addams Family pictures that he did, drawing-wise. So this was just this was like actually a made thing. And since then, I think the joke of it is that the Addams have different cousins and relatives and aunts and whatever want, so they can add whatever character they want, and they'd be like, oh yeah, cousin blah blah, or, you know, it's just what it is, right? It's just they're always someone's cousins or whatnot, so that's usually the joke. But if you're curious, here's the introduction to what the dialogue is for unlocking Cousin It.
What are you thinking about, It? You seem passive.
Presbel taka iki make devi liosa.
You're thinking of being a fashion designer. Great, you should do it. But there's plenty of room in the mansion. Let's set up a workshop for you.
It's in fashion, unlock the wardrobe. So this is the It wardrobe. This is what you need in order to unlock it. So we're going to expand that, and then we're going to go into the dialogue and the unlocking of It himself. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
I'm quite impressed with your skills as fashion designer, It.
Yakuta safa mit paruz til this.
You do have an eye for fashion. I just figured you'd open a hair salon instead.
Get it? Because he has lots of hair. That's hilarious. Ha ha ha. So this is what he looks like here. So let's continue with his dialogue.
It, why don't you use a fashion acumen with a new look for Wednesday?
I don't think he can improve on black hair, black clothes, and black leather boots.
To be fair, Wednesday, that's more of a pale turquoise you're wearing there than black.
Nefes karim and nazwal poto motsiti.
Alright. Just like the AC/DC song.
It, what do you think of Fitch's fashion compared to modernism? Isabella takfånig dismulation from Mitipus Sasano.
I don't care what you say. Modernism has nothing on vintage style.
Alright, it's Vintage, so place the song machine there. So that's basically it as far as things I've missed go, as far as dialogue exchange. And the rest I actually ended up having on my standby. But before I continue on with the actual Halloween update, I might as well mention some interesting facts when it comes to it himself. In the movie that this is based off of, and it's interesting that they've designed it in a way, in this storyline, that he's actually a fashion designer, which I guess I can see where they're going with this, but anyways. In the movie, it was voiced by Snoop Dogg himself. Why? I have no idea. The joke of it is that for some reason he speaks at a high-pitched gibberish talking, and he's just basically full of hair. And no one could understand him as far as, like, us goes, the audience, but when it comes to the Addams, it's like, oh yeah, they can understand what he's talking about, no problem with his gibberish language. So yeah, that I have to get to a point, and hopefully once this video comes out, I actually do his voice justice, but we'll have to wait and see how this turns out. But, you know, we'll see, because this is going to be a fun process to figure out the high-pitched gibberish voice I got going on there with him. But yeah, so there we go with that. It's interesting too, because normally it's just some small, someone who actually was acting as him unfortunately passed away recently, which is unfortunate to hear. But normally when it comes to it, Cousin It, is just wearing a big long wig, and then just wearing glasses and a hat, and there you go. So you wouldn't actually see his arms or anything at all. But in this movie, they actually show off that he has actual, like, an actual body, so he's obviously wearing a suit and whatnot. So it's interesting with the design of how they do it with this movie, but I digress. I guess it's assuming of what he would have looked like if Charles Addams made him, but I digress. But anyways, now we've gotten that all long, boring stuff out of the way, and this confusion of mishmash and insanity of chaos, which is appropriate for the Addams, by the way. Let's talk about the Halloween update in question. The Halloween update is literally just, here's some cookie boxes, here's your chance to get some costumes, and some cool Halloween items. That's it. Any new unique dialogue? No. In fact, if anything, let me show you what was up, sir. So first of all, this is the Halloween pack. This was what offered through the game. I ended up buying it because, you know, it was unique. This is the request. Basically, place pumpkins down. So these pumpkins are free. And but all you need to do is basically, you just, like, you see how it's done here, right? So this is what you literally do. So they ask you to say, oh, place pumpkins. So you go, okay, let me go ahead and place some pumpkins down here. And again, this is not my whole thing. This is just someone else's, but I'm using their video as just as an example of how this worked, because unfortunately I lost my original footage for this. But yeah, we go ahead and do this. We got this going on here. Yeah, okay, cool. So we gotta put a lot of pumpkins down. So when you go to my town and you see a lot of pumpkins all over the place, you'll know why that is the case. Because then there's usually other items too, like big pumpkins and whatnot. That was part of the whole, you can buy it within the bundle, or you can get it through the thing game, but I digress. But anyways, once you get all the pumpkins down, you get some rubies, and that's literally it. So that's all that was it for there. That's literally the update in general. So it was just a little, oh, here you go, Halloween's here it is. I honestly was not expecting Halloween to be an update because of when it was released, but they decided to throw a quick thing in there as of right now. What's interesting is that this is a little hint to how the system of events will be going on as far as updates go. Now, as far as, like, this is where the cookie boxes thing comes in, and this is where you get to understand how they operate the cookie box system here. The next update, what we're going to be talking about, is going to show you a bit more of that system, except it's not going to be fully there yet. You'll see what I mean when we get there, but now that I've done all that, now let's go back to where we're familiar with. Now, moving forward, this is my gameplay. Though this is all the things I ended up saving. So we're going to see this through, and this usually happens between the end of Halloween going into November. And this was, I think, either before and after the event in question, but I'm not 100% sure when it started exactly. But yeah, anyways, so here's some examples of the actual what comes in, and you get a big pumpkin as well, so that's kind of cool. Here's some animations as far as when it comes to it goes, so that's him having his hair on fire, which is, again, interesting that I figure I'll show you what I can and zoom in on things that I can, but I might have missed some animations, unfortunately. So this is one with him lighting the candles, so you got that thing going on here. So, yeah, interesting enough. The back in black, again. So, I'm only showing you things that I've missed and I can find, that I found that I don't have a copy of. So, hopefully I didn't miss anything as far as dialogue story goes, but I think I got everything. I'm hopeful for that, but I probably missed one or two things, so oops, oh well. I guess that's the nature of the beast, but I got the majority of it done, so yippee. What I can tell you is that this is the only time this is ever going to happen for this game, so after this video, all the interesting stuff when it comes to the Addams will be 100% complete and not...
Sorry, It. I already told you. I reject any color other than black. Truth is my circle of work, Pavel Dominican. Now this I like. It's so black, it reflects the darkness in my soul.
Wednesday, your terrifying fashion choices shows you're truly my daughter.
And there you go, back in black. You gotta love some of the dialogue things that he got going on here. Also, this is the pack if you wanted to get them through a bundle, so it also unlocks it, by the way. Here's a close-up of this. I'm not sure if I actually showed you Wednesday burying stuff, but there it is. Again, I'm thinking I've gotten all the dialogue, but I swear I probably missed one or two of them, so it's like, oh well, it's just gonna have to live with it. That's, I did the best I could, but hey, it was either that or we missed a whole lot of stuff and we wouldn't know what was going on, because I literally thought I had some of this stuff, but then I'm like, oh no. This and some few other games ended up suffering when it came to missing out on certain key features and updates as far as content goes, because of the whole transferring onto a small SMB and then just ends up dying. It's one of the worst things, and I should have knew this was going to be coming back in 2019, but I was none the wiser, and then of course I ended up suffering for it in the long run. But now I know, if it was causing issues, I know, okay, need to get myself a new SMD card, or small micro SD card, which surprisingly you can get a lot of gigs on that for not for a whole lot. It wouldn't cost you an arm and a leg. So really, when it comes to these video files and whatnot, they actually end up doing me pretty decent. And then what usually happens when it comes to these videos is that I end up kind of collecting them in a file, putting them all together, making a video like this into an editing process, and then from there, I end up making these videos and putting them in a...
The mansion is a good artistic environment, It. What don't you like about it? But Fizgies was smear $5.
What's wrong with the gloomy workspace? All good things happen in the dark.
It's gloomy in here. Place some ceiling lights and put some luggage. As I was saying, after I was done everything, it goes and saves on a separate hard drive that I have, and that holds all the video stuff, so like, terabytes and whatnot. This thing holds it, so that way I have it and not having to have it on my workspace. But yeah, this is him trying to chase a yarn ball, which is pretty sad with how everything goes from here. So yeah, at this point, the update as far as the Halloween thing goes, yeah, that's gone. And not a whole lot happened. So again, not a lot when it comes to the whole, when you think, oh man, Halloween special, woohoo, like it's not really that big in importance as you probably would have thought, like really. And something I'll mention here too, Morticia's costume is interesting, but Gomez's is more interesting because he reminds me so much, and I mentioned this when this happened. But there's a Saturday Night Live skit with Tom Hanks, I believe it's Tom Hanks, who dressed up as this character, something as Pumpkin. Swear to God, that was the same costume and everything about this guy. And I don't know why. I could have swear that's probably what it is. But anyways, I ended up getting this here, which is this Morticia's costume. I believe it was originally looking like something else, but they've decided to kind of rechange that to something interesting. And, yeah, so she's now going to do an animation exclusively. You can only do this animation if you get this costume. So this is what it looks like. It's basically her going to a couch and then, yeah, got some brew going on there with some puff of smoke, like you would expect a normal Addams family that kind of have done. So, yeah, I guess we still got some costumes there going on. Now, what's interesting is that there were still other costumes like Morticia's and Gomez's, and that's what it looks like and how much it costs. And what's weird is that there's no guarantees that you're going to get the actual costumes for this. They've changed the rights when it comes to these boxes so that only exclusive exclusive costumes would come in here. But this was like a test as far as things go. But anyways, I ended up getting Fester's new costume, which is this Vampire Lord one. And it's weird because this one's a hiccup attack. And, yeah, this is what it looks like, by the way. This is what you get, is this weird newt thing. So if you really want to get this exclusively, you can get it through him. But you can honestly get it, like, randomly through the lunch boxes. Or not the lunch boxes, but you know what I'm talking about, in the kitchen area, the random. You can collect food items there. But yeah, anyways, we got another costume for Wednesday. So instead of having a black dress like I had it before, now she has one that's just green. Again, for a person who said that, oh no, I'm only in black, you end up liking other costumes that's in. I believe this green costume is like for camping. I believe that's what they refer to this one as, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, this is the close-up shot. Her axing her dollies, you know, making them better. Because you don't need those pesky heads. Nah, it's good with the bodies themselves. Oh yeah, and this is another one. This is with the aforementioned count one that I had difficulties with before getting. But, yeah, so this is what Gomez's looks like. He's just kind of doing this animation. I don't know why, but there you go. The impaled. I guess the joke. Yeah, so then there's It's costume kind of going on. It has interesting costumes as far as what he gets. He's like a pirate cowboy. And then there's other ones too. There's not a whole lot, but yeah, so we got this going on here. Now, what's interesting is that you could buy it outright for that much crystals if you really want to, or rubies. I don't know what they refer to them as, but I call them rubies. Atom rubies, you can get them for that. And we got a new area unlocked, which is this weird hole. And I believe Grandma has an animation exclusively for the hole, and that's it. And it's basically feeding a ladder down there, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I think at some point I do show that off. Oh yeah, and then you get these bombs all over the place. They act like the Mimics or the Goosebumps logos or the pumpkins that were in Horror Town. It's the same thing here. Basically, when you click on them, they blow up in bombs and whatnot. Now, what's interesting is that for future updates, Halloween has a unique one, and then the Valentine's actually has a unique one as well. So those are the only two holidays, and you don't really get to see one for Christmas. And the gauntlet, huh? Gee, trying on a gauntlet. I wonder what this is referring to, huh? You don't think it has anything to do with a purple man who just likes snapping people? Nah, it's a coinky-dink, if anything. Oh yeah, and if you don't play a game for a while, you get the, oh, welcome back, here's a gift, you know, for free. And it's random with what you get, so, you know, it's no guarantees, but whatever. It's a nice gesture. But yeah, I think we have enough item money now to kind of do this quest and finish this off for Lurch. So let's just go ahead and put this down here.
Lurch, I saw how you placed that bench to insinuate the dresser. If it's true that you once studied interior design, just grunt yes.
So there you go, congratulations, you got that done going on here. So that's that, and we got some more quests going on here. Now what's funny is that we got the Eye of Art. So I did miss one, unfortunately, so whoops on that. But what's funny is that at the end of this quest line, the end of this video, we actually do get to have Lurch talk, and it's a joke. And I don't know if Lurch can actually... He kind of can talk, especially if you've seen the original, what do you call it? The original show. The actor who played as him, at one point, they actually, like, although he's like, you rang, and then they go, like, you know, grunt noises. He does speak, and it's funny because I remember there's this weird, the original Adam West Batman. At one point, you actually get to see Lurch, a guest star. It's like, oh, it's you, Batman. Because you hear someone playing the piano, and it's like, oh, it's Lurch for some reason. But yeah, that is interesting how that turned out to be the case. But oh well. Yeah, so Lurch can speak, by the way, so he's not just a grunting monster. And I think they actually joke about this too, because in the movie, I think at one point, there was some sort of music that was being played. I'm not sure for the life of me what it was, but I remember Lurch was singing the song normally. So, there's that.
Sure, your new lamp will keep me from sneaking up on you in the dark, It.
But it'll make it easier for me to see where to place bombs, so thanks. I'm sorry, It. I guess no lighting choice will keep you safe from my children.
That's okay. I'm sure he doesn't mind so much. Anyways.
So, you say living in the gloomy mansion makes your eyes sensitive to light?
Then you should start wearing sunglasses indoors, like a rock star.
If you were a rock star, It, you'd definitely be in a hairband.
Yeah, like the glam rock back in the day. Indoors shades, so basically have him try on some shade glasses. Now, what's interesting is that, yeah, this is the thing of him wearing sunglasses of why that's the case. Now, what's interesting is that there are some actual shades that people can wear, namely yellow ones. And yellow ones are supposed to be, like, for lights, and usually people wear them, especially if you have lights going on you, because you want to have the best lighting as far as when it comes to camera goes. Then there's other lights or glasses that kind of help what they refer to as blue light, aka screen light. So again, there's lots of different lights that helps you with eye sensitivity, and it kind of helps from the eyes going from strain. So I might look into investing in one of those in the future, maybe.
Dessa kalles med P akena similar?
How do I know vintage fashion so well? Because I have centuries of experience.
Get it? 'Cause she's old. Alright, nah. But, and yeah, I apologize. I know they basically put it language down there and just gibberish, but for the life of me, I cannot know what exactly it is saying. Whatever. We got a new costume for Lurch, and this is funny because this costume in particular, this is actually referencing an episode from the actual TV show. You can actually see some of the classic original 60s show on the MGM YouTube channel when back in 2019, and still there, I think. But yeah, this is a reference to when Lurch was going for a dance, and then Morticia at some point in Mask decided to go dance with him or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but it is fascinating.
You're looking disturbing and aberrant in all of those sunglasses, It.
Wel, beste kind, als wel ik deze kwaliteit is hot.
Well, if you can't choose just one pair, try wearing a different pair on each side.
Wednesday always coming in with the logic, it seems.
Je bezien na kifa skilla, me P columnus?
I don't think that weird mannequin is smiling at you, It. It's more like she's looking at you like she wants to kill you.
If looks could kill, get yourself mannequins and all that stuff. I wonder, did you buy the mannequins on the Mayfield Bazaar? I'm sorry, I'm mixing certain lores in the game, but you know what? This is made by the same company, so screw it. Yeah, it's part of lore now. Anyways, we got a bunch of stuff here. If looks could kill. I believe we're coming close to the end of these videos anyway. Oh yeah, there's this one. She has an animation called Smoking. This is a joke from one of the shows where it's like, you don't mind if I smoke, do you? It's like, oh, not at all. So then she sits down in the chair, and all of a sudden you see smoke coming out of her body. It's one of those, ha, 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 how silly is that? You think she meant smoking like smoking cigarettes. No, she literally means she wants to just make smoke. God, The jokes, man, the jokes. But yeah, here comes the thing I talked about before.
Who put up these paintings? Whoever did it had a wonderful eye in fine art.
I find the use of space and symmetry can best highlight the artist's original intent.
Well, Lurch, man, did you just speak?
I'm sorry, what did you say, Lurch?
Ah, poor Lurch. No, no inspiration. Yeah. Oh, man, poor big boy. He can't get a whatever. He still got the gardening thing going on, and then we got this here. And, yeah, I think we got most of the family in here, except for the new character. We won't, unfortunately, get her until, like, sometime in St. Patrick's Day. So, for all we know, we got all the family members now in now. So, hooray! And it's going to be interesting because, especially, this is going to be the start of when the seasonal content, costumes and whatnot pops in. So, yeah, this will be interesting as far as the whole thing goes. But with that, I think the video gone long enough, so we are finally done here. No, that was the video of mix-ups and whatever you like to refer to this as. Yeah, this is interesting. I'll say that. But, anyways, if you enjoyed this, let me know down below, and tell me what your thoughts and experiences. The next part coming up is going to be another holiday special, and this one will be definitely a holiday special, so do not worry about that. And we get to slowly but surely get into the actual events, and that will be interesting when we get to there. So, until then, I've been Grim, and I'll be seeing you next time for whatever kooky adventures we got going on. So, until then, you know, stay kooky.